Welcome to another episode of Talking Nerdy in the Bedroom with
Corey,
KJ,
Roger,
and Mike.
Hey, Steve, if that felt better.
We're getting used to it.
We are getting used to it. It's been a while. I feel like, granted, we didn't know Roger was going to join the podcast fully, but you've been here for like 6-7 months now at this point. So, that part has felt normal of you being here, but just including you in the intro rather than, and special guest Roger, that definitely, it's starting to feel more normal now. It's good. And now it goes right around the table. It works out.
I come last again.
You do. Although I'm also realizing that I specifically gave like the nice chair to Roger because he was a guest. He's no longer a guest.
I mean, I can swap chairs if you want. I don't give a shit.
What about that chair is nice? That chair looks worse than our chairs.
I sitting in both, I disagree. I like that chair more.
Well,
I will say this one hugs the shit out of me,
I'm comfy as shit in this one. You can keep that chair all day long. The thing looks stiff.
It's not stiff.
That's why he likes it.
It's like Grandma Ethel's knitting chair.
Who the fuck is Grandma Ethel?
The knitter.
Thank you.
I don't know what that means. Obviously.
I don't know.
You just need to be careful when you're saying that quickly.
You know that knitter from down the street.
Oh, that's terrible. All right. So we did figure out after our last episode, Roger actually came up with a good idea. Now, we've done this a bit throughout different podcasts.
Don't you like how he says that? Roger actually came up with a good idea.
Yeah, I kind of more meant it that you guys don't contribute usually to ideas for the podcast.
No,
you usually just
like
send
them.
me the
Also,
you send me a text. You send me a text that goes, what's our topic tonight? And I go,
Today,
here it is.
But who came up with the idea of doing D&D? Not this guy.
So you came up with the idea of doing D&D, but not on the podcast.
Yes, I did. I literally said people do, like, I was talking about how
Critical Role. And...
Yeah. I was literally telling you about all the people who do it, and I thought that would be more entertaining for us to do. And I brought Roger in.
You brought Roger in for the other D&D campaign.
Well, that's because you wanted to wait to do the podcast one.
Yeah, you wanted to test it out beforehand.
Yeah, that's what
we
you
didn't
said.
know it was going to be like a full podcast thing just because we weren't sure if it was going to be engaging, fun, which it was. Like the Infinite campaign was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so you wanted to test it out, which we did, and then we brought it to the podcast.
It's not exactly how that happened.
And that was tons of episodes worth of content, and I'm taking credit for all of it. The idea, anyway.
hey, that's
not the planning or any of that stuff. That was Roger making the campaign. So
there wasn't much planning going on. You guys kind of destroyed it, an hour in.
It's kind of what we do.
Yeah,
just a special talent.
Yeah,
I usually destroy it a lot sooner than that.
Less than a couple hours. Yeah, that's fair.
Does not take an hour.
Although I feel like in the first session, because all we did was go after the giants that were attacking us, I feel like we didn't go off the rails at that point. I feel like it was shortly thereafter, because it's very hard to go off the rails.
When you killed the guy in the bar.
That's pretty much...
I didn't kill the guy in the bar. He did.
When you
the decision was made.
Allegedly.
When the group decision was made to murder him, yes.
You never found his body. It's buried in a ditch in the woods, if I remember
you let it float down the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
that's
put
right.
it in the river.
I went to a different... I kept changing my mind of what I wanted to do.
Oh, it's a different body buried in the woods.
Well, you don't know about that one.
You weren't even there for that.
Oh, we're talking about the game?
All right. So anyway, what I was saying...
Corey, I feel like it would be almost amusing to watch you try to dispose of a body.
He would call and be like, hey, I need help digging a hole.
Hey, I did a thing.
So what are you guys doing tomorrow? Like, I know you're working, but you think you could help? Like, I got a little project I got to do.
Well, no, I'd call Mike to help and you to supervise.
I would supervise. I'd be like, you can't dig the hole there, guys.
And that's what would screw us. You and your diligent note-taking, and then they'd find your notes, and they'd be like, oh, you're all accomplices to this murder. Thanks, KJ.
Mike showed up at this time, told Corey he's an idiot, but I guess he'll help. Yeah. That's you need that
Mike could
stuff.
bring his Sawzall and just go to town.
That sounds awful.
Well,
like digging a 6-foot pit with a sawzall, that sounds miserable.
First of all, you're doing it all wrong. You got to rent a pig.
That's true. You just let the pig eat it. And yeah, you would need several.
And then you take the pig shit and then bury that because it'll have teeth in it.
Okay.
Yeah, they eat everything but teeth.
Well, now we know. And
I
no
thought they
one's
eat
have
the
to-
teeth. I think it just doesn't get digested.
Yes, that's
Yes.
what I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
why you
yeah.
have to bury the pig shit.
Yeah.
We'll have to test it. I mean,
Or you
we'll
just
find-
pick out the teeth.
from
Like
the
bottles
shit.
for apples.
I love how our podcasts never go as planned. It makes me laugh. So anyway, Roger did come up with the idea for nerdy hate for an episode for a topic. As we've had many episodes, like this is 100 and something that we've done, and throughout it, there's been episodes where we talk about something and all of us aren't giant fans of something, or there's a minority that they're not a giant fan of something and everybody else loves it. So now we're going to try to talk about specific examples of that where we like something and everybody else fucking either detests it. Obviously, the easy example as you look around this room is wrestling. Like, I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid. Most people were when they were a kid, and then they stopped, and then moved on to other hobbies. Although you guys can't really say anything because, I mean, you guys still like Pokemon, still like Yu-Gi-Oh, still like yada yada, and those are all things we watched as a kid, and instead of growing up, you still like those things. Or Magic the Gathering.
Well,
Let's make one point here. You bought 2 Yu-Gi-Oh decks when we went camping.
Sure fucking did. Oh no,
So-
I'm not saying I'm not saying that I'm on the other side. but
We revived Yu-Gi-Oh together.
no.
you guys actually play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, we
Oh.
played. But
You built like what was it? 6 decks or something like that?
yeah, something
8
6 or
decks?
8. I think it was 8 decks.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Just bought starter decks or
Yeah, well, I bought the it's supposed to be the quick starter packs, which
Yep.
I actually didn't like. I prefer like the whole deck itself. These are supposed to be these are supposed to be designed so like one is Yugi's, one is Joey's,
Okay.
one is
You
Kaiba's.
should have asked me. I had my old ones
It's the
from when
Battle
I was a kid.
City.
The
Oh
old
yeah,
starter
Well, we were
packs.
at the camp.
Battle City pack.
Oh, I
my
know,
buddy Tim
but you bought it
that a
ahead
while
of
ago.
time.
That was actually a lot
Well,
of fun.
we didn't know. We went to the store and we're just talking about like card
Oh,
games
they
and
had
things
it at the
at Walmart.
Oh, I didn't know you went to Walmart while you were at
Yeah,
camp.
so we went to the Roost, got wings, and on the way back stopped at Walmart to grab other stuff for the camp. And then we were like, you know what we should do? Look for games. And then we looked for games and like, you know what else we should randomly do?
Yeah, it was like $30 and for like a fucking box.
Yeah, full of
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
8
But we
decks.
also learned that game has a lot of reading, which I did not remember when we were a kid.
Yeah, I
The-
found that out myself.
The cards are
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like it has like
Tiny.
50 lines of text.
1.
And it doesn't help that they're like 2/3 the size of like a Magic the Gathering card. They're little things.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
yeah, it's
words
very
are microscopic.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal if it was just because some of the cards have like little things about like the creature or something that have no difference on the game. If it wanted to be that small and that was it, great. But when it's a paragraph and it is like, well, do this if this happens, or flip a coin if this happens,
Why
and then
did-
if this counters this, you add a counter to this.
Why is the damage so like high? Like it's like, oh, this does 58,000 damage.
Well, it's not 58,000, but most things like Blue Eyes White Dragon is 3,000. Dark Magician is 2,500, but it's their way of starting. So like, what do you start with at in Magic the Gathering?
20.
You 20, but that's the difference. You start with 4,000 life points in Yu-Gi-Oh. So
Yeah,
it's
but you
just
could
because
like,
you
easily
start.
keep track of your life total in Magic in your head if you needed to.
Sure, but
Yu-Gi-Oh, you're like, all right, hold on, you're gonna deal damage. Let me get out my graphing calculator.
that's why you're supposed to have the dual disc, and it's supposed to do it
So
for you.
Fucking crazy.
I just want it done for me.
Yu-Gi-Oh, is like people are like, oh, they've already made this game called Magic the Gathering. What are we gonna do for a life total? Times everything by 100.
Have you seen the VR guy who like trolls Yu-Gi-Oh players?
Yes, the Pot of Greed.
Pot of Greed.
Pot
He
of
goes, Pot
Greed.
of Greed, allowing me to draw 3 cards. And like, that's not what Pot of Greed does. Pot of Greed again! He draws 3 cards. And he keeps going. They're like, you're not playing by the rules, dick. And he just keeps going.
Yeah, I see that. It's very funny. I'm also very surprised they haven't done like a good VR game of both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh does have a VR.
But a
That's what I
good
just
one.
said.
It has a good one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good.
It's in Tokyo. They have a complex.
Yeah, the complex. I mean, like one for us that we could just play on.
Oh yes, that sounds very very cheap. And
well, no,
everyone
like I
around would buy
have
one.
the
He's
what's
talking
it called?
about on the like
Oculus.
Rift. And they do have
that
it.
VR headset that 2 out of 4 have, unless Mike's got one.
He did have one. He got rid of it,
but it was terrible, so I got rid of it.
They make me wicked motion sick, so I don't bother.
Depends on the game. That one of the games I was most excited about was Blades and Sorcery, and it's because they have a Star Wars mod where you can literally like force pull people and like throw your lightsaber and stuff. It looks so cool, but
We'll
the
get to that in a
movement
second.
makes you want to throw up. Like it's really weird.
It's a good segue, though.
It is.
I feel like for
You're welcome.
$500, even on like the new ones, like their graphics could be a little bit better. Like we have like hyper realistic graphics with Xbox or PlayStation.
Have you
what
seen
game
the
has
game
hyper realistic graphics on Xbox?
Look up Body Cam.
Yeah, body cam is crazy.
On Xbox, it's a game,
Xbox Series X. It's called Body Cam.
and
Is
it's
that
a
the police
game.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That when you're a police officer.
Yeah, you're a SWAT officer.
Grand
Yeah.
Theft
And it
Auto
looks like
6
body
coming
cam
out is
footage.
hyper realistic.
We'll see. We haven't seen anything for it yet.
Unreal
Nothing's been-
Engine 6 is coming out. Everything on that is
I agree. That
insane.
looks amazing.
right. But look at that, and then look at
Star Wars Outlaws. I'm just kidding. God, does that look like crap?
I see everything that I've seen for people hammering
keeps
it
coming
had
back.
nothing to do with the actual footage of the game. It was the test footage that got released. But the people that said they've actually played it, it doesn't look that bad.
I'm talking about the actual gameplay trailer they released.
I understand, which it still isn't like the full finished product.
Well, then they shouldn't have released a gameplay trailer if it looks like crap.
I don't think it looks
That
like
doesn't
crap,
make
but
any
it just
sense.
doesn't look like a
Well, it
2024
doesn't look
game.
like crap because we grew up with bad graphics and have gotten to the point we are now. But for today, it looks like crap.
Oh, is that the
That's body
the
cam.
video? Okay.
I've seen guys like playing that and they just go like, "Put down the knife," and the person doesn't have a knife. They just start blowing away.
I mean, I will say that the background looks very realistic. The gun holding does not.
coming from someone who's never held a gun.
No, I mean like the gun itself. Like the gun that he's holding doesn't look realistic.
Doubt.
I mean, I'm telling you what I'm seeing.
It's like a 15-minute video, but it's
Is it the one where he goes through the warehouse?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, it's so nuts.
Yeah,
But again,
all the background stuff, I agree, looks
regardless.
like he's like controlling like a drone or something that is going through and showing like a shot for shot HD video of real life.
Like the Meta Quest has like Wii graphics at best.
maybe
See,
Wii U.
I never did the
What?
Meta.
Is that the one we have?
No, I have the Oculus. I don't
Oh,
know if
Oculus
you bought
is
the
Meta now.
We have Meta.
Oh,
We
what's the other one that just came out?
Meta Quest 3?
No,
don't-
the
It's the
other
newest
VR one.
Oh, I don't know.
That it's got nothing to do with Meta.
Meta Quest 3, though, is cool because it's got see-through, what's it called? Augmented reality. So, like, if you have a piano and you have it and you download the app, it will highlight the keys and the notes. And
Are
then,
you talking about the Apple one?
no, I'm talking about Meta. Well,
The Apple one is the one that I was saying that there's another one, but he's
That's
talking
gonna
about
be
the
like 8
Oculus.
times the price
3.
and a
Apple
quarter of the
is
capability.
Apple is not Meta.
No, it's not.
It
Meta
literally
is Facebook. Apple is
Oh,
different.
that's what I meant. I
You
meant
fucking
Facebook.
Cunt.
Hey, chill the fuck out.
Well, you're just no, you're wrong. Like no, fuck off.
Yeah, but I didn't call you a cunt for being
But don't
wrong.
be a cunt.
Ugh.
I wouldn't call you a cunt. It's pretty easy.
Anyway,
Regardless, the graphics are terrible.
no.
See, it
Depends
depends
on the game.
Yeah, but I will say the games look more campy. But I don't know if that's what they're going for because there are some like PlayStation games and Xbox games where it's designed to look campy. Like when we played mini golf, it's supposed to look campy as hell.
It's terrible.
It
I disagree.
depends on the game. I'm telling you, you would actually like Star Trek Bridge Crew.
A game that requires minimal movement and is basically an FMV the entire game. Yes, it's going to look good.
But it's real fun interacting with the rest of the crew because some of them take it crazy serious. And then you have the guy who's high as a kite and is like, oh, yeah, I'm firing blasters, sir. And then the captain's like, you will address me as captain. Just, I don't know. Fucking.
So
it's
it's like an MMORPG.
No,
it's-
or an
you
MMO.
run
It's
through
not even
different-
really a game.
You run through different. Well, that's not true. You run through different scenarios and like
With
missions.
other people.
Yeah,
That sounds awful.
And all it is you're sitting at the different command stations of the Enterprise.
You're the captain, navigation, comms, or
Do you go on like away missions?
You don't leave the ship.
That is awful.
not
What
sure
about
if
that game
that's
do you think
true
that
anymore.
that's in my wheelhouse?
Huh?
Because you get to sit in the ship.
Oh my god, we're on the bridge. We're still on the bridge. This is great. That sounds terrible.
And then you would like ghosts.
He's
of-
so pissed right now. He's like,
No, I mean I only played
very
the game for like a
surprised.
day. So, but ghosts.
You
of...
played it for a whole day? You sat on the bridge for a day.
No, I played one day, not the whole day.
That's a day. So you didn't play it for a day.
I mean, you could always just go play VR Counter-Strike and play Pavlov.
Yeah. Well, what's Ghosts of Tabor is?
Ghosts of Tabor is definitely not Escape from Tarkov or any of those extraction shooters.
It's basically a gigantic MMO. Is that an MMORPG? Not really. It's more like DayZ. Like you
No.
collect item. Well, yes, a little bit. You run around. You start with nothing. You build up and collect guns and stuff. And
That's
you just
my life.
run into people.
Start with nothing.
It's kind of like
guns.
Rust a little bit, but
The only
Oh,
difference is
God.
if you die, you don't get anything back to your hideout or your stash, and you just
Hey, talking
go
about
back up
Rust,
naked
are we,
again.
are we ever getting back to that?
I mean, you stopped playing with us the last
Yeah.
time.
If y'all
'cause
played
it
on
wasn't
PC, I'd
fun.
come join in.
Yeah, because I'd log back in and there'd be like a city built.
Well, yeah.
Because KJ's like, I can't sleep. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm just gonna go
That
build.
happened
I'm gonna go
so
build the
much.
Eiffel Tower.
KJ
And
no
put
life
guns on
that.
it.
So always what happened is we'll start building. So like me and you started, and then
Yeah.
he joined in, and then he just fucking goes ham, and all of a sudden it's like we're visitors at
Right,
KJ's
yeah.
house. But like we started.
Sounds like me
we
with
built
Ark.
that little like cool place on the side of the
Yeah.
the shore that nobody ever cared about because it was hidden. And then he's like, you know what? We need to make this 900 times bigger. And then it
It
got
wasn't
raided.
even that bigger.
We're gonna build a wall.
And that one didn't get raided.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
The cliffside base.
Yeah, it didn't get raided. Our other base outside of it got raided.
So define raided because people broke in the
They-
wall and
They
attacked us all the time.
tried to get. They never got in the base.
Did they get
They
access
got
to your
in
tool
parts
cupboard?
of the base.
No, they never got in the base.
Well, disagree.
No,
The
so
raid is
one
only
of them.
successful if they get access to your TC.
No,
Well,
they never did
got
that.
to the TC,
They blew
but-
through one garage door, which was just an airlock, to another airlock, and that was it.
Okay.
After blowing through one of the
So they ran out of
compound walls.
C4 explosive rounds.
Yeah,
and-
they
I
looked
think
at
they
it.
were really just fucking with us, to be honest.
I think they looked at it and went, "Well, that's shitly built," and then they went, "Ah, damn it."
That's what we're looking for, though. That's the kind of gameplay that we need to
Yeah, you gotta fake it.
Yeah, it's camouflage through garbage.
I actually thought about building like a 2x2 armored base. Then you build sheet metal around that, and then a layer of stone, and then outside just shitty wood, so that people see it from a distance. They're like, "Oh, that's just a wood base. They're not gonna have anything."
But you got to honeycomb it, so it's just even more
That's
annoying.
what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
just keep going out bigger and bigger and bigger.
The upkeep for that probably wouldn't be fun though.
Eh,
I mean,
Yeah.
what? Wood, stone, metal, and
Yeah, but you can only put. There's only so many slots in the TC.
18.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, but if you have to make sure you do wood, make sure you do stone, make sure you do metal, make sure you do high qual.
And then just landmines everywhere.
So
Yeah,
that's still
that
four.
we're gonna step on
I
ourselves
don't
like it
care.
was the sticky the spikes that we used to do.
I want landmines.
Yeah, the spikes always.
we ever
Are they
play that
actually
game.
landmines?
What?
There's
Yeah.
landmines now, yeah.
If we ever
Now?
play that game again,
there were
that's-
landmines before.
Oh.
In I don't know what it's like on Xbox or whatever, but on PC there's cars, submarines.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we just
Trains.
got underwater subs, and there's the underwater lab they
Wait,
just
we did?
introduced. Yeah.
Oh!
Oh,
Sounds like we're getting rusty.
There's only two different subs you can use. The small one only holds one person, where the big one holds three. However, if you can hold your breath long enough, you can make it there with another guy, like duct taped to the side of the sub.
Is it torpedoes?
No.
We also got we finally got
Kinda
the tugboat
submarine
too.
doesn't have a torpedo.
come on, Tugger! Oh, now
We'll
we're
fight around the
definitely
world.
playing. Every time we go to fight somebody, that's gonna be the line.
I'm sure.
Going round the world.
We have not. So we were talking about nerdy hate. Then we started talking about things we like. I feel like it's easier to talk about things you like than things you hate.
All right, I'll
Well, you
talk about
started out with
something
wrestling
I
and
hate
nobody
now.
wanted to
You.
talk about that.
What?
I hate you.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
You hate
No,
yourself?
I was gonna say you were talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
I liked wrestling when I was younger, but then I wouldn't even say I grew out of it. I grew tired of how much it became just like
Soap opera?
Yeah, soap opera.
So pause real quick.
You're gonna say it wasn't when I watched, or I was when I watched it.
From the 70s all the way through now, all of it was a soap opera.
If you can't see the difference between like the Undertaker, Steve Austin era versus what it is now, I don't even know.
No,
how to
hang
have a
on. So the
conversation.
Undertaker, Steve Austin era, where the Undertaker kidnapped Vince McMahon's daughter, then Stone Cold had to run and save her and stop her from being sacrificed. Doesn't sound like a fucking soap opera at all.
I'm not saying it doesn't have some, but now it's like ridiculous.
And then Vince McMahon became the big bad evil that was controlling the Undertaker, who caused the Undertaker to kidnap his own daughter to screw with Stone
To be
Cold.
fair, that might be after I stopped watching.
No, that was during the heyday.
Oh, okay.
That's the corporate ministry angle.
Yes,
Okay.
Couple that
so
with
glad I don't watch it.
it's still a blast.
It's crazy now, though.
the problem is we don't have a modern day Paul Bearer to run around with a high pitched nasally
true.
voice and make stupid sounds.
I know, but it was so good at the time. And I will say again, regardless of what anybody says, because he says I'm stupid for it, WrestleMania was the best trip I've ever taken. It was the most fun I've ever had. It was a fucking blast.
Good.
Oh, thanks.
Doing it live and
I thought you said camping
you're the
was
best camping that I've ever done. But that is the best trip I have ever taken,
Did you
and
guys
it was
go
just a
Brokeback?
week.
Did you guys go Brokeback Mountain? You're the best camping he's ever done.
We
He
ain't,
meant
can't
like he was
quit
trying
you.
to snipe me.
What's that?
I think he's trying to snipe me.
No.
It was the best camping.
it was the best camping.
He was waiting at my spawn pool.
So yeah, so it's still great, but I can understand why a lot of people fell off it. There was a time of, I think, like a 2 or 4 year period, I stopped watching it altogether. It was awful. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the wrestling wasn't that good. The stories weren't that
Do you
good.
still watch it?
Yeah.
Like every day?
No. I just watch the pay-per-views now and then kind of watch clips online. When we get YouTube TV back for the NFL, I'll be watching Raw and SmackDown, and then Raw.
Well, that's going to be on Netflix.
Raw
now.
is coming to Netflix as of January 1st, which will not have any regulations from the FCC.
He was like hardcore wrestling fan, though.
Oh yeah, I used to be. I used to watch every Monday, every Thursday / Friday, every pay-per-view.
And I still don't quite. What EFED was like, you impersonate a wrestler?
Yeah, so you role play as a character from WWE, WCW, ECW, whatever it is, or one that you create yourself, and then you cut a promo, and then somebody basically judges your promo versus somebody else's promo.
What does that mean, cut a promo?
So when they talk.
So basically, you're going in there with a broad outline of what you're trying to accomplish. So say I'm wrestling KJ and I'm the heel. My job is to make him look like a dumbass.
Yeah, basically, and make the crowd hate you and be in character of
Get
that
as much
character.
booze, as much hatred as you
Yeah.
can get out of it, while maintaining the restrictions and language and all that
Yep.
nonsense.
And yeah, did that for so many years. Like, oh God, I don't know, 15 plus?
That's so cringy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Listen here, Magic the Gathering nerds.
Yeah.
I don't fucking
you
care.
are-
You guys are fucking, it's so bad.
See, I'm like caught in the middle here because I love wrestling. I like magic. It's
No.
It's I don't have a problem with, like, if he likes wrestling, I think it's dumb now, but whatever. I like dumb stuff too. It's the EFED thing is just so, I don't want to say weird because I like D&D, although I didn't when I was a kid, but now I love it. So like, it's not very different from that, I guess. I just
No.
would never think like that would exist.
So,
I mean-
it's just one of those things on the internet.
very
that
niche thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean.
Although
exactly.
it blew up in the 2000s.
Literally hundreds of people.
No, like hundreds of thousands of people to the point where
Wow.
WWE,
Hundreds of
yeah,
thousands?
yeah, there were
There's
ungodly
probably-
amount of
there's probably a
EFEDs.
TikTok channel.
But WWF at the time, before they became sent out so many cease and desist letters because everybody's using like the images of their wrestlers and pretending to be their characters and all this other stuff. So they sent out so many cease and desist
so much
letters.
gimmick infringement.
Yes, and even though what they should have done was embrace the shit out of it because it meant these people are fans, they didn't like it at all.
Well, then Zack Ryder got out over.
Well, that was so many years later. Like, this was early 2000s. Zack Ryder didn't come out until 2010s-ish.
All right, enough about dumb wrestling. Explain why you don't like Star Wars.
I will get all of the
Explain
hate.
yourself, sir.
So let me ask this: when did you first watch your first Star Wars?
When I was a little kid,
And you didn't like it then either?
I was pretty indifferent to it. It's not so much a hatred that.
Let's start it this way.
When did I start
you
hating
like
it?
wrestling at the same time?
I did.
Yeah, that's your problem right there.
I like both.
Somebody dropped you on your head while you were wrestling, and now you don't like Star Wars. It makes sense.
Sure.
So what did you watch the fourth movie first? Meaning the first movie?
Yes, I've watched them all in order of release, essentially.
But at that time you did, back when you were younger.
Mhm.
And you watched the first one and you were indifferent towards it, and yet you still went to the next one?
My dad watched them, so I
okay.
kind of sat around and did it with it because you don't spend a lot of time with the old man when he works 12 to 15 hours a day.
But is that why you didn't like it? Because the old man liked it? Is your ability to rebel?
No.
Because there's a story in that show about
So
rebellion.
You don't like... Do you not like all Star Wars, or do you basically only appreciate the original trilogy, basically?
The original trilogy to me is just boring.
Oh, well, you're fucking dumb.
He said that before. That's like what I figured he was going to go with.
It's not a matter of nothing happens. I mean, George Lucas has come out and said he's basically tried to make a Kurosawa movie in space, which, Ronin and all the older, 50s samurai movies are infinitely better, in my opinion. But up until, you realize that Darth Vader is Luke's father, there's no real stakes. I mean, yes, the Death Star is going to come out and blow up a planet. Oh, boy.
All planets, if they don't bow down to them.
Yeah,
Statistical impossibility. You know how long that's going to fucking take?
Well, they blew
Using
up
jump light
hyperspace,
speed.
yeah, not very long.
Yeah, they blew up Alderaan, which had I forget. They say
Millions.
Okay, how many
I guess they
inhabitants?
just say
A million
In
souls
dolphins.
cried out,
Yeah,
and then silence.
How many inhabited planets are there in the Star Wars galaxy?
Infinite.
well,
How long does it take the
that's
Star
not
Destroyer
true.
to destroy an infinite number of planets an infinite amount of time?
Sure.
It will lose inevitably.
But, and I mean, it is, because it's going to be infinite. You're not going to know all the planets out there. It's going to be infinite.
Well, it's literally not gonna be infinite.
you have so many
will.
civilized worlds.
Yeah,
You don't
gonna be
know,
planets-
because you're going to keep going and keep going and keep going. Like the
Well, they're not
galaxies
gonna
and
target any-
don't end.
No, my point is the Death
The
Star.
galaxy.
what are those fuckers that Thrawn's running away from?
Whoa,
I can't-
whoa, whoa! The Imperial Galaxy. They have almost the whole galaxy mapped.
But there are other galaxies.
They don't go to other.
They don't go to other
galaxies.
galaxies.
Why not? If you're going
They're
to...
far, far away. It's in the goddamn scroll.
But again, the point that Roger was making is just, it's not going to... I
On
disagree
a
that there
cosmic
aren't
scale,
stakes.
it doesn't fucking
But that's
matter.
any movie. That's any movie. Anything that you do as a human being makes no fucking difference.
Correct, but what's happening
That's not
in
true.
these smaller scales...
On a cosmic level, nothing you do matters.
But we're not... In smaller scale movies, we're not talking about cosmic scale events.
Sure. Okay, so
Well,
let's
you-
just look
you
at it
are,
that...
though, you're destroying whole planets. If you
Well,
don't think that has.
Well, look at that one with
repercussions
just that
cosmically.
one galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they've almost mapped it out, and let's say there's... Even if there was 1 million planets,
But-
and they could destroy 5 a day. Now, of those 1 million planets, how many are habitable and how many actually have
Well,
civilized...
keep in mind though, like the Death Star was just the first of many. They also made the Eclipse, which had a Death Star weapon on it. Like they were in the process of making thousands of planet killers
But also,
when?
stop it.
during
Extended
the height of
universe.
the Empire.
Yeah, but when? Like, is that in any of the movies?
No,
That's in the books only.
Oh, that's in the books.
yeah.
Okay.
As a guy who has read the Thrawn trilogy, who has read, the Jedi Academy
Well,
series.
you're gonna tell me you read the Thrawn trilogy and did not enjoy it? There's no way you get through those 3 books
Do
and
you
hating it the whole time.
Do you understand what it's like from peer pressure from Alec Jones sitting here telling you that I have to fucking read this every time you talk to him?
There's no way you read all those books and hated it the whole time.
Are you
Not a fan.
disagreeing with his opinion? Are you
No, no,
sounding
no,
like
no, no,
KJ
no.
right now?
He's allowed to have his opinion,
So-
but I'm saying
Is it allowed to be
That's a
wrong?
lot. That's a lot of time spent on something
That's what
that
I'm
you
saying.
don't
When
like.
all
That's
of
like
your-
me being like, you know what? I'm going to read The Secret Garden and fucking hate it and still read it.
So many people have tried to get me to watch Doctor Who, and I've tried so many times.
Didn't you? Aren't you watching a TV show that now you're going to finish that you don't like?
Because my wife is watching it. I don't have to watch it, but if I'd like to spend time with my wife, it has to be on in the background.
When all of your friends...
Like, if my wife isn't reading me a book, in which I'm like, yeah, I gotta be here because she's reading a book.
Does she read you Star Wars to put you to sleep?
That would be so nice. I'm gonna ask for this. In fact, I'm gonna get the Thrawn trilogy and see if she'll read it.
But it doesn't matter because it's not canon anymore.
I don't care.
No, but when all of your friends that surround you talk incessantly about it, and you want to be included, because if you're not going to sit there and just engage in the conversation, you might as well just fuck off on your phone that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that you like don't love it, but I just feel like you don't hate it. You just are indifferent towards it.
No, I've invested enough time to the point where it's hate.
He hates it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
You see him like hiding his own hatred behind his teeth. That's fine. That's fine. That's just good. It's my favorite thing in the world.
But also the whole thing about the destroying infinite planets thing, they wouldn't. They're focusing on the planets that are part of the Republic because they've advanced to the part where they have space travel. They don't care about planets where people.
So they're destroying terrorists.
Huh?
They're getting rid of terrorists. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine if you think of it that way, but that's definitely how the imperialists think about it.
That's what it is. Like, the controlling power is attacking a group literally called the Rebel Alliance, a group of people that are not a part of the main governing body.
Yeah.
They're attacking terrorists.
Well, that's the same thing as like America was the terrorist to Britain.
Goddamn right we were.
I mean, we are the biggest terrorist that has ever existed. Ever.
You're only a terrorist if you don't win.
That's fair.
Right. History
favors the victor.
History is written by the victor.
Written. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are. If you just look at our history, we are one of the biggest terrorists out there. We just bomb everybody without looking.
That's why, like the whole Jedi versus Sith rule of two versus however many fucking Jedi are numb. And also, the Jedi are fucking racist because the Sith is not only a political ideology, it's also a race of people.
That's not true. It's a religion of people, but they come from all different races.
That's why they have a singular homeworld that was destroyed and basically turned to glass. And now it became a religious...
What are you talking about? You're talking about Dathomir?
Yes. And now...
Dathomir wasn't home... I mean, there was Sith colonies on Dathomir, but that's not where the Sith originated.
That's the... In everything I've read, that's like the progenitor of the Sith.
No, they just had a cult there, and then that's where the witches grow too. The dark side is strong on Dathomir, but that's not the homeworld of. I mean, it is the homeworld of some Sith, but it's not the homeworld of all Sith.
So let me ask: did you watch the original trilogy? Did you watch? Have you watched everything?
Have you watched the sequels? You'll love.
I've watched the sequels. I have been.
Shut up. If you say the sequels are the best thing, I'm going to leave. Because I know there's no goddamn way you believe that.
You know that Jar Jar Binks guy? He's not that bad.
Me?
What?
I'm thinking in my head.
Just staring me in the eye.
No,
and I'm listening to what he's saying, and my mind is blown away. I can't even look at it.
He didn't actually say that though, so go ahead. Finish what you're
saying.
I just thought you were going there, and I was going to have a hard time. So
when you get free movie tickets from your friends, yeah, you're going to tag along.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll be the first to say Revenge of the Sith, I walked out of the first 10 minutes.
Well, that's because What's-His-Face died.
Count Dooku, who's the main antagonist from the previous, dies in 2 seconds. If they didn't make Clone Wars to fill the gap, I would have hated the way that trilogy went.
I watched all of Clone Wars through Symbiosis. Like, I just happened to be in the same room because back when I roomed with Alec, that's all that was on TV.
Granted that you apparently hate Star Wars, which, forget that for a second. We'll put that over there in the corner.
Set that on
it's a big corner. It's a big corner, really.
Of everything you've read, seen of Star Wars, what did you hate the least? I'll put it that way to make it easier for you.
That's a tough one.
All right, well, think about that. Keep thinking about that. We'll come back to find out which one you hated the least or even enjoyed. Unless you've got it.
The original Knights of the Old Republic game.
I should have said not video games. I meant more like the media of it, not the video games.
That's a part of media. Video games.
I know. Okay, fine. I mean, not video games. Because I'll grant Knights of the Republic, you could hate Star Wars and it really doesn't impact. It's the game itself and the story was really good. I get,
Yeah,
but
Carthonaci's the man.
yeah. But I'm thinking more TV show, movie, book that you read, book series maybe. But
Not much, really.
Do you watch the new stuff that comes out?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Do you even watch Mandalorian at all?
Nope.
That's a good one.
I'll take your word for it.
Space Cowboy.
I'll take your word for it. I got Cowboy Bebop for that.
did you like
Yeah.
Firefly?
Yes.
Okay.
Meh. See, that's my hate thing. Like I don't
Not
fucking-
Serenity, not Firefly.
no, I watched it, hated it, didn't
Fair
like it. Just not my thing. Can't say fair enough. The point of this podcast is to talk about things we hate while the other people get
I feel
upset.
like you didn't hate it though.
I didn't like it. I didn't find it interesting.
The thing is,
You didn't
it's because
hate it, though.
you're more predetermined towards like Star Wars on that, which Firefly / Serenity is a parody of.
But I'm also like not the biggest
Think
Star
it's a
Wars.
parody of Star Wars?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, I guess Malcolm Reynolds is kind of a Han Solo-esque kind of figure.
But I also wasn't-
And while Marina Baccarin, who I'm forgetting the name of her character, is
Didn't we
not a princess, she
The
is kind of,
Firefly is in a show that we watched previously. Was it the Orville?
Firefly was in a show.
The Serenity ship
Oh,
was in the background.
yeah.
It's in a lot of like media as a.
what was it in?
I know. I sent you like a screenshot. I was like, "Is that
Yeah.
is that Serenity?"
And we said it looks well. That happens all the time. So the Halo series has a ship called the Pelican,
which is now
and I
canceled,
can't tell you what.
which is now canceled.
Thankfully,
I didn't mean the show. I just meant that Halo,
Series.
like the
Franchise.
game, has the ship the Pelican, and that ship is the exact ship in like so many sci-fi things I watch. I don't know. They're just like, fucking.
Well, it's
copy
probably
Halo.
somebody doing it that either likes it and is paying homage to it.
Could be, but it just seems to like be. And
it's just
to
a
be-
vertibird.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
in the Orville because he's like
Could
he's
be.
like talking to his like ex-girlfriend in like the apartment building and is like flying down or something.
Although I don't think it was the Orville because
It was when Fox made the Orville before they sold it to Hulu, and Fox owned the rights to Firefly.
I
Not
know,
really
but
sold to Hulu.
it
Hulu
could be.
bought
I
them.
can't remember. I remember talking
Whatever.
about though.
That's also another show. Don't fucking care about the Orville. They love it. Nick loves it. Don't fucking care.
Oh, it's
But-
fucking funny.
No, I didn't think it was funny at all. But I also didn't get through season 1, and apparently season 1 is the bad one, and it gets better as it goes.
I hated it. Did you watch it? No.
I watched season 1. It's bad.
You just said you
Orville
didn't get
was
through it.
basically
Yeah, I didn't get
my
through it.
filler for the fact
So
that
then
they
you
haven't
didn't
made a
watch
good
season
Star
1.
Trek series
Did watch
in a while.
season 1.
So
Didn't get through it.
In
That means you didn't watch season
24
1.
years.
I liked Enterprise, which it's fine if you hated it. I know
Scott
most people did.
Bakula.
I liked it. I liked seeing them with a ship that wasn't the most advanced in the in the quadrant. I liked that we got to see them first contact with all these different races and species. I don't know. I liked it. And I like Scott Bakula. T'Pol was hot. Like, I mean, what's there to complain about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like
I mean, 7 of 9.
any
is
of
my-
the Star Trek
pleasure.
shows.
I did not like Voyager.
Jerry
I
Ryan?
tried to get. I've never watched all of Voyager. I
fucking
can't do
love
it.
Voyager. The Doctor is the best
That is-
character.
That's an
I love the
underrated
Doctor.
series, Star Trek Voyager. I
It
appreciate
is.
it, but
I
probably
don't
number
like
2 for me.
I don't like
Deep Space Nine.
no. Well, no, I don't like Deep Space Nine. But I don't like
Jeez, I wonder why. Who's the captain in Deep Space Nine? He's
The-
black.
Okay.
No,
I
I'm
was gonna
just
say the black guy.
Ben
He's not
Sisko.
he's not a captain though. He's like just the station.
I think his rank is still captain though.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you. These aren't shows
Side
I
note.
watch either. Like
I mean,
Star Trek is not.
It doesn't
my
matter
thing.
when you're
I'm gonna-
talking Star Trek. Next Generation is the goat. Like I
I was gonna
don't
say, if
think
you say
there's
you
much
don't like the
debate.
Next Generation, I will leave.
Yeah.
I don't like the Next Generation.
All right, see you later.
I mean, you know where your car is. That's
Have
fine.
you watched it all?
No, not all. No, but
Have
I've
you watched more than 2 episodes?
Yeah, I've probably watched around 10.
Okay, you should give it another try now.
Now?
that you're an adult and can understand things. You were probably too dumb as a kid to enjoy it.
That's fair. But yeah,
Probably.
not really.
Yeah, sure. I don't know why I said probably.
No, that's just Star Trek has never been a thing for me. I liked some of the newer movies, but even those weren't like, oh, I need to go see this. I was like, okay, let's watch this.
Well, the newer movies are not good.
I mean, some of the
They're not
older
really-
movies
they're
aren't
not
good either.
terrible.
I
but-
liked the first one, and the second one with Khan was good.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
don't know.
I didn't hate it. It was entertaining to watch.
It's entertaining, but they weren't like amazing.
Well, the
Like,
problem is you had to
It's
separate.
the Deadpool paradox, where it's an entertaining movie to watch, but you got to go home with nothing.
and you don't have to watch it ever again.
I've already watched it twice and will gladly watch it more.
The third one
Talking
was
about
weird.
Deadpool or
Yes,
Star
Deadpool.
Trek?
Yeah.
Like I said, the new Star Trek franchise, that's a great comparison, is the Deadpool movies.
I want to watch Brave New World, though. I think it's called. Is it Strange
Strange
World?
Strange
World.
New Worlds.
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds is okay. I've
Yeah.
been watching that.
I like the main guy, Anson something or other is his name.
So-
He's a good actor.
We've heard
the
Captain.
Captain.
what Corey,
Pike.
what,
Yeah.
what nerdy shit Corey doesn't like, what I don't like. How about you, KJ?
What don't I
I've
know?
already been mentioning. It's
Yeah.
all I've done is all the nerdy shit I don't like.
All right, then.
But I will
No, you're
say,
not. We're
like,
going to
one of
Mike.
the things that I could never get into, besides for like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Digimon, the first seasons, anything anime. And even those are like more Americanized anime, not like anime. And I tried like One Punch Man, and I somewhat enjoyed it, but nothing I felt like I need to go watch more of.
Yeah. I
But
agree.
anime's not for me. I don't know what it is about it. I have friends that absolutely love
The dialogue is corny as fuck.
Goku or whatever the hell that's from.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z.
Yep, that one. They love that shit. They love
I grew out of that hard.
Bleach. And then there's that other one that's been on forever.
One Piece.
One Piece.
One Piece, that, and then there's some other ones that things have like come out, and this just does nothing for me.
I didn't mind Attack on Titan, but I watched the first season and then I heard the second and like a bunch else came out and I was just like, I don't really care that much.
Attack
to
on
watch
Titan
it.
is brutal. What a good show.
It
Yeah.
is. It's awesome.
It's so brutal though.
And then I tried to watch Sword Art Online.
Don't watch that. That's like the worst show ever fucking
It
made.
started off very interesting, and then I was like having
then it
a hard
becomes-
time following.
What's the
it.
other one that you like? The one that where they go into like the mainframe. They like go into the game and he's like
No,
stuck
I don't
there.
like it.
Sword
it was,
Art Online.
It was Casey wanted us to watch
Yeah.
Overlord.
Overlord, yeah. Casey
Overlord's
wanted
funny
us to
as
watch
shit,
it.
but
And,
that's
I
not
I
good.
couldn't get by. It was so cringy.
Yeah.
The first like episode,
Oh.
he's like, there's a game character with like gigantic tits, and he starts going like, "Oh, the boobs are so big in my face."
Yeah.
And, like, I was like, no,
Right, yeah,
I'm done.
we watched a bunch of anime things for that episode that we did with Casey,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It was
For
painful.
anime.
Yeah, and it was just I tried. Like the only one out of those I really somewhat enjoyed was One Punch Man, and that was just like
I love One
Out
Punch Man. I don't
of-
know why.
out of these bad ones,
That was
this
my-
one is
that was my
tolerable.
guilty.
I like some of the Netflix ones they've done, like Castlevania.
Castlevania's amazing.
And then
Yeah, couldn't
Blood,
get into
Blood
that
of
either.
Zeus is a good one. It's about this Greek mythology, basically. It's pretty
Never
cool.
seen it.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Are you an anime person?
Used to be.
Used to be.
Don't have time for it anymore.
Well, fair, but so it's not like you fell out of interest of it. It's just you fell out of time.
There's been a change
of
in my
time.
personal taste. And going back and watching shows that you liked as a kid, like Dragon Ball Z and stuff, and you realize just how bad and how cheesy the fucking dialogue is.
Yu-Gi-Oh is awful but amazing at the same time.
It's
like
so
I still
bad
have,
it's good.
Well, it's not even like that. I just, as I watch it as an adult, I'm like, my God, how did this keep I have to fast forward through a lot nowadays just because they repeat themselves 1,000 times.
Well, because they have to. They're trying to sell the cards.
Well, that, and it's for kids. So a kid's attention span back then, they might not necessarily remember everything that just happened 4 seconds ago. So let's
Kids
repeat it.
like the repetition though. Like my 5-year-old will say the same thing 95 times in a row and not bother him at all.
Yeah, well, they don't have that annoyance factor yet, but I do, and it's annoying when you're an adult going, "Oh my God, shut up and just get to the duel."
It's the repetition that they can pick up on and then repeat themselves.
And then it becomes their personality
a
for
learned
a
Yeah.
while.
ability.
But yeah, so I didn't notice that too much when I was a kid because obviously I was a kid. You're just paying attention, hopefully, to the story or whatever, and then when you get
No,
older,
you're looking at
it's
the bright
brutal.
flashing lights.
Yes.
There's your key right there. You
What?
didn't notice it as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? So that you're not at the target audience.
I agreed. I understand that, but I go back and I still enjoy the show because of what the show is and what I remember from it and the nostalgia aspect of it. But if it was like, hey, go watch this show, I never watched it before, I'd be like, this is terrible.
See, I don't think there's anime for everybody. I don't think you're watching stuff that you would really resonate with me. You're watching stuff that's literally targeted towards children, like One Punch Man, One Piece. They're all for younger kids.
Supernatural has an anime.
Do they?
Yeah.
But
A
you
lot
can
of,
find
a
stuff
lot of
for,
times they do that.
Is it an anime or is it just a cartoon?
It's anime.
Oh, okay.
like you can find dramas and shit like that that are pretty good to watch.
I guess I never been, like, if I'm going to watch something, 9 times out of 10, I like live action.
That's fair.
I don't know why that is, because obviously when I was a kid, everything I watched was like cartoons, and I still watch South Park now, Family Guy very occasionally. But everything that usually I watch is just live action. I just prefer that. I'm not exactly sure why, but as I got older, like that seems to be mostly what I watch.
Fair enough.
Same with like movies and everything. Although I don't mind like the Sonic movie came out or the Detective Pikachu, so that had like it's supposed to be live action, but obviously some of the main characters or whatever are not live action.
What?
Really? How dare you not tell me that Knuckles, played by Idris Elba, isn't real?
And then Sonic is
I
played
started
by
watching it
Ralph
too, it was pretty
Ralphio.
Yeah, it's Ben something.
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Yeah.
bad.
So like those I'm okay with, but it's because it's the rest of the movie is live action.
Okay.
But yeah, not my
So,
thing.
After hearing that, Mike, what's your nerdy thing that you can't stand but everybody else seems to enjoy?
I don't know. I don't like wrestling. That's probably it.
I'm
trying
sure
to-
there's other nerdy stuff out there that you don't like that others probably like.
Nothing that I would say like to get to the point of hate though. Like
Wait,
I've
you
watched
hate
animes.
wrestling?
Yeah, I dislike it immensely, and I've tried to watch it many times. I've had tons of friends during high school that are like, "Oh, I like wrestling. Let's watch wrestling," and we watch it, and I'm like, I don't know how you can watch this.
This fucking guy over here.
But I mean, like, I didn't really consider that, I guess, nerdy until you.
Thank you.
Stop So I heard about that E-Fed bullcrap that you did.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it just didn't put it in like a nerdy genre because just there's a lot of people that like it.
Everybody watched it back in like the late 90s.
But like, no one's like, "Oh, you're such a nerd for watching wrestling." It just doesn't really fall.
You
in
are
that-
now, most assuredly.
I'm fine with it.
Never
Like-
fell into that like criteria. Like if you're like in high school in the like visual arts room playing Magic, you were a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree
that
with
would be
that.
me playing Magic. In
Although
the
it
visual
seemed to
arts
be in
room.
our school, high school, there really wasn't too much of Magic being played.
Yeah, neither in mine.
Like
Or at
in
least that I
middle school,
noticed.
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh was played every day. Every time there was a break, both those were played. But Magic really wasn't a thing until
Magic's
like
the OG,
out
man.
Yep.
of school.
That's where it all came from.
I feel like D&D was probably the thing that I knew people who played D&D in high school, and that was like the nerdiest thing I remember Mike and Josh used to play.
I feel like it still
and
is.
I just never.
Oh,
Gold
it's
Mike-
still very nerdy.
Gold Mike Rogers.
Yeah,
Like,
I actually
if,
just
if
saw him the
you
other
had
night.
like a stereotypical like what's the nerdiest thing ever, it would be
D&D.
Well,
Dungeons
so
and
I
Dragons, yeah.
will say that although D&D is more pulp culture right now because of Stranger Things, like that brought D&D into the forefront
I
of
feel like
everybody's
nerdy,
minds.
being nerdy in general is now like
Well, it's because all the kids that were nerdy are now adults that have adult money and are in positions of power, so they're bringing all this
right,
nerd stuff.
and all of the boomer generation that'd be like, that's this stupid. You need to go outside and mow the lawn. They're all like old and crotchety. Nobody gives a fuck anymore.
yeah,
With
that's
their
basically what it
lawns
is.
all overgrown.
yeah.
Well, I don't think we have like the modern day satanic panic like they did back in the 70s and 80s with Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
where
they
there's
had
not this
they had the
colossal-
90s too of going fucking crazy with rock music, D&D, and a bunch of other stuff.
Harry
There's
Potter.
that documentary. Yeah, Harry Potter was big, but that was not about. That was witchcraft, more about than satanic.
Well,
Where do you think the witches get
Yeah,
their powers
I don't
from?
know.
It's different. There's one that's about Satan, where you're worshiping Satan, and the other one is just witchcraft.
It's another
Those
one I've
are
grown
two
out of.
different things.
Which is
you grown out of Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Like, have you gone back and rewatched any of the old movies?
I have, and I will admit I enjoy them, but I can't see the glaring flaws of
Have
just...
you played Hogwarts Legacy?
I have.
It's great.
That makes sense to me because that's like 100 years before everything that's happening.
Yeah.
What's
But
stopping?
it's still a great game.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So like the Harry Potter world, like the universe that it
Makes
belongs in.
zero sense.
What do you mean?
Logically, he's saying, like, if
Well,
it
not even
actually
logically.
existed.
Like, so, for example, I'm Harry Potter. I'm the chosen one. I know Voldemort's come to get me. What's stopping me from just getting a handgun and shooting him? Because as it's shown that nobody can just do spells silently by pointing a finger. No, they have to do this big elaborate movement, and that takes less time than me pulling a trigger.
you
No, that's
can-
not true.
you can
When they
do it in
get
your
things like thrown at them, some of them just go boop, 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 and block them. So you do the same thing with a gun.
but also, like, I guess we don't know this, but I always just kind of assume that they have protective charms on at most times.
Then what would stop Malfoy from getting sucker punched in the mouth or any of like?
Well,
Have you
Malfoy's
watched
not the
Doom?
Dark Lord.
Or not Doom.
Dune?
Dune.
Yes,
So
Ugh.
same thing. They get the force shields, the raised shields, whatever you want to call
but
them.
at least they address it in Dune. In Harry Potter, there's no reason stating
Yeah.
that. Yes, we have to keep this secret from normal people.
They're also in London when you can't own a gun because they're
It's true.
This
They're
is
in Britain.
this isn't modern times, sir. This is based in like the 70s
when they had even less weapons.
when they had less restrictions.
Right, but there's less weapons.
Okay.
This ain't America.
Plus, you're not thinking of this. If you had a magic wand, who the fuck wants a gun anyway?
Right, when you can turn your opponent into a frog, like, do you really care about shooting them that day and make them
Also,
mess?
they're the
21 foot
shield.
rule.
The shield thing would be. It's the same logic. Like, why can't they just all use Avada Kedavra or whatever? That's the thing that cracks me up about Harry Potter. Is it's
all just really.
abracadabra.
It's all just really bad Latin.
Well, it's not even. Yeah, but it's just the fact that it's abracadabra, and then there's other ones too that are like literally just magic words from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leviosa.
Yeah, it's not Leviosa. It's Leviosa. You
But-
bitch.
No, like it's. What's stopping them from just being like, all right, magic's real. Here's the deal. We're going to all work together to better mankind. No, we're going to be secret. We're going to be hidden because reasons.
Muggles can't deal with it.
Okay.
I
So
mean-
now what I'll say, though, is that you're seeing this.
But you're seeing-
hang on. You're seeing this hundreds of years when Harry Potter's there. So there's been witchcraft for
Ever.
millennia. Right. So we don't know. That might have started out with everybody knowing, and it went horribly
You're
wrong.
you're also looking at the wrong big glaring issues. The easiest issue in Harry Potter to point out with no good explanation is they have these things called time turners.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of going, oh, Voldemort just killed Harry and James, let's turn it back 6 hours and fix that. No, we're going to give it to a student so she can go to extra classes. It makes
There
no
might,
goddamn
I mean, there
sense.
might be like some kind of like
Limitation on
It's
it.
only
Yeah.
for schoolwork.
Well, no. It's
No,
supposed to be so
only-
you can't screw with the timeline
and
cosmic
only
shit.
you can only use it inside like the Hogwarts school.
Well, but that's not true because they
What-
get it from the Ministry
The
of
big
Magic.
problem, I think, with Harry Potter is
Right,
nothing.
but it could
is
only
explained.
work in Hogwarts. Maybe,
Well,
maybe
okay,
it's
I
like
mean,
a
they don't
banned
say
thing.
that, though.
But even if that was the
Maybe it's
case,
banned magic.
let's rewind 6 hours in Hogwarts and then send a message, be like, hey, Voldemort's going to kill you. You might want to leave the house.
Stay in
He's
Hogwarts.
inside the house.
Yeah, but they also say that if you interact with anybody from the past, that it's going to cause issues.
You mean
Also-
like Albus Dumbledore told them to do?
Why are
Told them
all-
not to do.
No, he said free Buckbeak and Sirius Black, which they did.
It's because they had already done it.
Well, they
Also-
That's how time
So-
travel works.
Why does this massively powerful wizard government give a shit about one random school in England when they've proven that there are schools around the world?
Yeah, see, that was my thing. I thought there was just one magic school, and,
And
then
then
they did the
Book of War
Goblet of
comes out.
Fire,
But the
and it was just
Ministry
like,
of
Ministry of Magic
Magic
is just
just
England.
England.
because you also have the Ministry of Magic in London or in New York, which is called something else.
Yeah, it's just for England, the Ministry of Magic.
So like it's their
We never
their
hear about
parliament.
like a global like.
I think that's
UN
where my
of
big
magic.
problem with it comes to
The
is
UN
nothing in the
of magic.
world is explained. It's just shut up, enjoy it. It doesn't have to make sense.
To be
we
fair,
haven't had enough books yet. That's why.
if you do shut up and enjoy it, they are pretty enjoyable.
I will
And the
say
game
can't.
is
the
phenomenal.
game is amazing.
Game
I
is
love
the game
the game.
is
the
stupidly
books
fun.
are definitely better than the movies, though. I'm just gonna say that. Right
Well,
now.
so what about the
A lot.
Books
TV?
are better than movies 99% of the time.
What about the TV series?
That's coming out
Yes,
I'm-
next year,
I'm
I think.
interested to see it, but
And it's-
we'll see.
My wife's going to watch it, so I'm going to be watching
Each
it.
10 episodes.
series is a one book.
And it's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So you're going to get 10 hours worth of content for one book instead of 2.5 to 3 hours from the movie.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
wonder if that's going to give. I mean, it should lend itself to being able to do more of what's in the book rather than trying to condense it all in a
I
2.5
feel like
hour
they
movie.
missed a huge opportunity in the show and just skipping that entirely because it's already been done with the movies and done the legacy story.
From the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was already been like in talks for a while, and it's such a cash
Right,
cow for them, and it's
that's-
also another way to drive people to Harry Potter World in fucking
That just
Universal.
seems like right. Again, it's
It's
just a
called The
cash
Fan
grab.
Base is getting old, and we need to get kids into it again.
That's what it is.
Ugh.
That's just corporate, man. That's what
I
they
know, I
do.
know.
They
I
need
don't-
to do The Boy Who Lived.
I'm gonna
too.
watch it, but I will not like watching it.
You know-
I'm gonna be open to watching it, and maybe it'll be good. But I'm going to obviously be comparing it to the movies, and it's also gonna suck because it's gonna be that because it's on HBO,
Aren't they
which
doing
I
a
like
Cursed
HBO.
Child movie too.
No.
They
Last
were.
time they were, and then everything happened with the Fantastic Beast movies that did nothing for them. Besides for the first one. The first one made a lot of money, and then the next 2 or 3 just
Well, the
kept
first one
going
was
They
down.
ran
good,
out of
and the other
ideas.
two was
I
terrible.
hated the first one. I thought it was so fucking boring. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I was bored out of my skull.
It was fine. It's serviceable.
Wasn't for me. But there were so many people just clamoring for anything Harry Potter that so many people went to the theater and saw that. So they made a lot of money, and then the movies just got progressively worse. And then they also recast Johnny Depp because of everything going on with
The Amber Turd there.
yeah. They recast him. I do like the actor they recast him with. I can't remember his name.
Colin Farrell.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was the other guy.
No.
Wasn't there another guy? The guy bleeding from
it's
Casino Royale.
It's Colin Farrell does play him at one point. Then it's
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Then it's Mads Mikkelsen.
There it is.
Mads
Oh, yeah,
Mikkelsen.
yeah, yeah.
He's the one that replaces Johnny Depp because it's Colin Farrell at first because you're not supposed to know it's him until
Yeah.
he transforms into the Johnny Depp character.
Yes.
Did you like Rogue One, or did you not watch Rogue One?
Star Wars.
Yeah, I think he knows that.
He's thinking for anything. Did you like this?
I know, right?
Well, no,
This was a
Mads
good one.
Mikkelsen is in that, and that one I thought it was a great movie. It's a movie I only was interested to watch once, though. I'm not going to go back and rewatch that one.
I would
I
watch that.
think it's a solid like heist movie, and it's a good story. It's just being in Star Wars does nothing for it.
That's
well, I
fair,
think that's
yeah.
kind of the point of the movie. So, yes, there's Star Wars implications, but I don't think it's like reliant on that. Where I think some other movies and TV shows
That's
are
probably
reliant on
the
the
only
fact that it's Star
property I'd be
Wars.
okay with.
I want to see where many Bothans died to get these plans.
That's right.
So back on the Star
where,
Wars
where did
thing.
that happen?
What's stopping from all the Jedi from just destroying the Sith? Since there's that rule of 2, there can only ever be 2.
Well, they don't know the Sith exist half the time because they live
Whoa.
in shadows.
Shit.
Well, they know they
They
exist.
can
just
feel
don't know
their
who
entire
they are.
existence across the galaxy.
Well,
you
no,
can
no, no,
pinpoint
no,
that
no, no,
motherfucker.
No, Yoda even says he can't. He senses darkness, but it's clouded, and he can't pinpoint where it is. And Sidious and Palpatine are literally talking to him half the time. The Sith have grown accustomed to being able to mask their presence, and even the Jedi can shut themselves off from the Force.
What?
Hello? Oh, my
What?
thing cut out again. I don't know. It's weird. But even the Jedi can close himself off from the Force, like Luke did in the shitty sequels. And then nobody can connect to you through the Force, so they don't know you exist. So the Sith are really good at hiding their existence, as are the witches of Dathomir. Because the dark side is shrouded
Dark
in
side.
darkness. The dark side. If
Okay.
Sean
Oh, I
Connery
was
had
gonna say, okay, Connery.
Yeah.
Um,
back.
Hot shingle.
So I can throw another thing that I don't know. So 007. I love the newer ones.
No, we're
Hated
talking about
hated
Star
the
Wars.
older.
Stop
I
trying to
hated the
change
older
the topic.
ones. I didn't like the ones with Connery. I didn't like the ones with Pierce Brosnan. I didn't like the ones
Ugh.
with what's his face. I did not like,
like the ones with
old
Daniel
007.
Craig.
Yes, me too. I really
You
like the
didn't
ones
like
with Daniel Craig.
GoldenEye?
Nope.
Oh, well,
I like-
that's all right.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
The Island of
Well
Dr. No
designed
was
up.
good.
Well,
Nope.
no, now you're... No.
Now you
Never Dies
know.
is good.
What?
Tomorrow Never Dies is good.
Which one is the one with the... It's funny, the one I don't like is the one with the Asian...
Tomorrow Never
girl.
Dies is the one that they go in the giant stealth nuclear submarine.
With the guy who doesn't feel pain? No, that's
no,
World
it's
Is Not
the
Enough.
guy with like the glasses. That's like a
Yeah, that one sucks. World Is
Hacker.
Not Enough is okay. GoldenEye is the good one.
yeah.
And then you go back
Tomorrow Never
further,
Dies.
and the
Tomorrow
best
Never
one,
Dies is with
Pierce Brosnan.
yeah, but it's Halle Berry.
As
Oh,
the
that's
chick.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Never mind. I'm thinking of... What's the other one? It's
And
World's
that-
Not
that-
Enough.
By the way, that's a terrible movie.
No,
Terrible
that's
with
Die
Halle
Another
Berry.
Day. See, you're mixing me up. Tomorrow Never Dies is the one I hate. Die Another Day is not good, but it's
Die Another
entertaining.
Day is the newest one that just came out.
No, Die Another Day is the one with
No,
Pierce
no Time
Brosnan.
to Die.
No
is
Time
the-
to Die,
is
okay.
the newest
Yeah.
one that came out, which is a
And the best one-
Yeah, Die Another Day is the one where he. That's the one with Halle Berry.
Halle
and he-
Berry, yeah.
It's North Korea. The guy.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
creates the Icarus.
and it's bad.
It's
That's why
not
they made
bad.
a parody
It's
of it in
bad.
Austin Powers.
It's
Yes.
not that bad.
The
It's
the
certainly
Icarus
better than
satellite?
Tomorrow Never Dies.
I don't like. Besides the Daniel Craig ones, I don't like any of them.
Tomorrow Never Dies is the one where he like skis, right?
There's
It's
no
like-
way
it's
you
like
don't
Mission
like
Impossible.
GoldenEye.
I don't like
Did you-
Mission
Did you
Impossible.
watch GoldenEye?
Yeah. Didn't like it.
Who's the villain in GoldenEye?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't believe you watched it.
I did.
Sean Bean?
Okay.
You don't remember Sean Bean in that?
No.
006.
Yeah.
No.
Janice.
No. I got nothing. I didn't like those movies. I thought
Well,
they were.
There's also.
I thought they were
you have
super
Xena
campy.
on a top. That's one of them.
Xena on a top.
That's
yeah.
why I liked the.
And Boris with his pen.
Boris is not a bad guy.
That's why I like
I
the
mean,
newer ones. They felt
yeah,
more
he's
realistic. Those
He's
ones
a-
just felt very campy and superhero-y without being a superhero.
They're very much of the time frame of when
Yeah.
they were made.
It reminds me, like, granted, Triple X came out after, but it seemed like the same damn thing of this one guy who's able to do all these things in an unrealistic way.
I
Oh,
feel
you
like
mean
you
like a
don't.
spy that should be able to do all these
Though
things?
they shouldn't be able to do all those
Well,
things.
no, but I agree. Like the newer movies, although I'm surprised you like Daniel Craig then because he is like the most physical of them all. And
I'm fine with the physical. It looks real. It seems accurate. It doesn't, like, the...
Daniel Craig
Yeah.
over Pierce Brosnan?
1,000%.
but what you're
No,
saying
Pierce
is
Brosnan,
backwards.
like size wise.
You're saying Pierce Brosnan's James Bond was too much of I'm a superhero. Meanwhile, Daniel Craig is doing parkour that's like he's chasing a guy who's like a parkour expert and doing the exact same moves.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother
Well, he
you?
doesn't do the exact same moves. He falls quite a few times. And that looks realistic to me
He
because
also
him
uses
trying
an
to do stuff.
excavator on a train to keep the train coupled so he can crawl across the excavator to get onto the train.
Which one's that?
The second one with
If it's
Daniel
Quantum of
Craig?
Solace, nobody's
Quantum of
expected-
Solace is so bad.
It's so bad. Yeah.
And then
you just said you liked
Skyfall is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And then the
that's
one
Skyfall.
after Skyfall is terrible again. And then the one after that is decent.
All right, so we're gonna do a ranking of James Bond now, even though this isn't
There's
a James
like
Bond podcast.
20 James
Not the
Bonds.
movies, the actors who've played James Bond. So who's your favorite? Daniel Craig?
Yeah.
Followed by who?
Connery.
Followed by
Probably Pierce.
Brosnan.
Yeah.
And then what? Roger Moore?
Yeah.
Timothy Dalton on the list?
No.
No? And then George, whatever his name is from On Her Majesty's Secret Service is last.
I got
anyway,
nothing.
Yeah. What about you? Favorite? Craig?
Daniel Craig.
Pierce Brosnan second or Connery?
Pierce is second, then Connery,
Roger Moore.
then Roger Moore.
Yeah, that's probably the same.
You like Craig the most?
Probably.
I thought I was talking to somebody in the
Nope.
same camp as me.
So I like. I mean,
fuck you. I gotta go.
I like Daniel Craig as mostly because I like the newer movies as well. But I feel like James Bond, like the stereotypical James Bond, is
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. Because GoldenEye.
Isn't that just because you grew up with it?
Yeah, but GoldenEye
Wow.
is the single best James Bond movie.
Skyfall.
No.
Skyfall
Dr. No.
trounces everything.
No, thank you.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Doctor,
Skyfall.
if you're going
Only
to say
old-
James Bond, and I hate saying it because it sounds like I'm only saying that because it's the first, it's Dr. No. Sean Connery is James Bond. Pierce Brosnan is doing a facsimile of Sean Connery being James Bond.
Okay.
That's the only
But
old James Bond
GoldenEye
I
is
like.
probably the most James Bond movie of all James Bond
I
movies.
love
It's
GoldenEye,
Skyfall.
but I disagree.
Skyfall is the best movie.
And I'm also going to say the best actor to act the part of James Bond was Roger Moore. I just don't think he looked the part as much. He was kind of like almost a redhead. So
Can we all agree that Moonraker sucked?
Yeah, I like my favorite personally is on
Octopus.
The Spy Who Loved Me because it's the first introduction of Jaws, and I just like that movie a lot anyway. But and then Octopussy's good too. But Dr. No is like Goldfinger. Just such a crazy concept. He comes home and Goldfinger's painted the girl he was with completely gold, so she died.
Smelted her.
Yep.
Although now every time I think of that, I just think of Austin Powers.
Well, yeah,
I love
that's
gold.
I think that's kind of where they're going.
I understood, but that's now where that goes. Like that
Just like
parody is now
Doctor
the main
Evil's a
thing.
parody of Doctor No. And
Yeah.
I
But,
did
yeah.
hate the first one with Daniel Craig. I like it as a movie, but
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale.
I like it as a movie, but it really bugged me as a James Bond movie because he wasn't suave at all, really. It was really more aggressive, and he was basically like Jason Bourne. And to me, James Bond was always kind of like judo chop, so versus like I'm gonna chase and beat the living crap out of you. And I think they realized it because then in the later ones, he's been more like, I don't know.
He books it after people in every single movie and is running after them and doing fisticuffs.
He's a lot more suave in Skyfall, and then also
Ends up banging that chick that dies in the first movie as he's being suave. The girl who then dies in a hammock.
I'm not saying he's not suave at
That's
all.
suave.
I'm just saying there's too much.
Stop being suave with your foot.
They made him too physical in that thing. What?
You were playing footsies with me,
Oh,
and I didn't like
even
it.
feel your foot.
So yeah, I mean, I think they looked at it and went, "How do we try to make this real and visceral compared to the other movies, which were just, yeah, in my mind, they seem very campy and over the top."
It all went to hell though when John Cleese wasn't Q anymore. They brought that young kid in. Sucked.
What are you gonna
Well,
do?
you also have what? R is the second older guy now.
R?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I guess
The,
I did like.
it's like the
what's
guy
her
from
face?
Monty Python,
What's her
I
face?
think.
The
that's
M?
John
John
Cleese.
Cleese, yeah.
But he was
No,
Q.
not the first Q. Like there's an older one.
Well, yeah, there was an original Q, and then
Right.
John Cleese came in, and then now they have some young kid.
I thought the second older guy was still in it though.
I don't think so. And then they had M originally was a guy, and then Dame Judy Dench took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she had been in it during the Brosnan era, too.
Yeah, she took
And
over during the Brosnan era.
She's a good M though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she was great. And then her death scene was great. Like,
Yeah.
It was fantastic. That was in Skyfall.
And I like the money penny they've had recently.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Although they don't like come out and say it's Moneypenny.
Don't they say it at the very end of the movie?
They're talking on a train, I think, and they say like a reference to like.
No, I think at the very end of either the last movie or the movie before last, it specifically calls out Moneypenny.
It's It's a good
Yeah,
thing
but-
we're talking about things we all equally hate.
Well, I mean, this technically, again, I do hate the older James Bond movies.
Oh, you do?
Like, I
Okay.
said that. That's how this all started.
I tried to ignore the dumb things you
Yeah,
say.
I just don't.
A franchise. It's like a franchise I fell in love with. I like the first Highlander movie. Everything else is just dog shit.
So the first Highlander movie is fantastic. The second movie is awful, except for the fact that it's got John C. McGinley in it, who I love. The Quickening, I think it's what it's called, and makes them aliens, and it retcons everything from the first
planet
movie.
Zeist.
Oh, it's so bad. I'm glad they kind of basically
I don't
did
think
away
I've
with
seen
that.
the second one. Now I
Don't.
don't want to.
Yeah, don't. Then there's Highlander Endgame, which is okay, and then
Then
there
there's
was
The Source.
the Source, which is the last thing with
Aren't they rebooting Highlander?
they
Henry Cavill.
are, and I am
Henry
excited
Cavill?
for it. Yeah,
Yeah, he's gonna play Connor.
Okay. He's gonna play Connor McLeod.
Yeah, I'm
Henry
excited
Cavill,
for that.
As soon as
literally
they-
building franchises left
Yeah,
and right.
he's got to do what he's got to do, man. But
As
I
soon as
love
they
I
lost-
love the TV show though.
As soon as they lost Christopher Lambert, I lost interest.
Yeah, but then when they used him in the TV show quite a few times though with
Yeah, as the mentor figure to,
Yeah.
to introduce the Watcher Society.
Duncan. Well, no, it wasn't the Watcher. We were talking about what's his face, the
Joe.
Oh, you're talking about Joe. Okay,
Yeah, the
Yep. Okay. Who am I thinking of?
Duncan brings him on there and introduces him and like, hey, this is a Watcher. They're a new institution designed to look at all of the immortals in the world and basically act as handlers to make sure.
Well, they weren't new. They'd been around. Just nobody had noticed them until they're like, "Hey, why is this guy following me? What the hell is going on?"
And
But
then
yeah.
he dies like a bitch in the Source.
Yes. And well, the Source just wasn't that good, and it was
was
went
the
to straight to
second-
sci-fi movie too.
Second worst thing to ever happen to Highlander, next to Highlander 2.
Highlander 2 is the worst. But
Yeah,
the,
then it goes to Source.
the first the TV show had some good things, like when Duncan went bad. That was great.
One of 10 times he decided he didn't want to be, an immortal anymore and tried to kill himself.
Yeah. And then they just went bad and just started doing terrible things and then trying to like kill everybody.
Don't they
It's
just
great.
kill themselves by cutting their head off with one of the swords?
Well, they don't kill themselves. They
Well,
kill other people.
Are they not able to kill themselves?
I mean, they could, but I don't know
Actually,
where.
no,
the...
they aren't able to kill themselves. It's a big taboo thing. It's just like fighting on holy ground,
Well, you
which the
can,
show
though,
completely
can't you?
nullifies.
Well, because it was supposed to be more of a. It's not that you couldn't do it. It was that you shouldn't do it. It was supposed to be the one place that you shouldn't be able to do it. But it was never like it wasn't like a force field or something that wouldn't let you fight. And that's what the TV show did away with, because it seemed like especially in the first movie, it's everybody respected that tradition that, hey, we don't fight here.
Speaking of TV shows, because I don't think we've
Are
seen
you going
Highlander,
back
so
to-
fuck this.
I've seen Highlander.
So you don't like Star Wars,
Nope.
I knew he was going
but
to
you
like
like
Star
you
Wars.
like sci-fi series, I assume.
Yeah.
I know you like Star Trek.
Mhm.
Did you
Battlestar?
like Battlestar?
I like Battlestar Galactica. I like Babylon 5. I love Babylon 5.
It's better than Deep Space Nine, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's why I can't get into Deep Space Nine, because whenever I try to watch it, I go, I think I'd rather watch Babylon. And I
Because
didn't watch.
Garibaldi's the best character in the show.
Yeah, I didn't watch Babylon 5 or Battlestar. Cameron Smith would always tell me to watch them, and then
You know what's funny? He's the guy who introduced it to me too.
right? But he always watched Babylon, and I always would see clips. I'd be like, that looks so nerdy. And then when I got to college, I just randomly watched Battlestar, which then segued into
Hang
Babylon
on.
5.
I like that you, as a giant nerd, saw something and went, that's nerdy. And that wasn't
was a
like an
closet
immediate
nerd.
erection for you to go, I need to go see what this is.
I was a closet nerd. The only real nerdy thing
Nobody thought you weren't closeted.
Well, the only real nerdy thing I think I did in high school was just play Xbox nonstop instead of going out and doing stuff. But like I didn't do D&D
Instead
back
of
then
going
or
out
Magic.
and
You
doing
watched
stuff.
Pokemon.
I
You
didn't
watched
watch Pokemon in
Yu-Gi-Oh.
high school.
Pokemon was still on in high school.
I didn't watch it. I watched Pokemon when I was a kid in like 6th grade. And I watched probably I watched till he had the tournament and Muck beat the crap out of Bellsprout. And then that was like that was the only season I watched. And granted that season's like 50, 60 episodes.
You're talking about
but-
the Indigo League season.
yeah. I've never really watched any other Pokemon, but I tried to. Like the Togepi was after that, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And I tried to, but like I didn't really care. After the 150, I was like, no, I don't want to learn all these new
Now
ones.
there's over 1,000, and
there are really some really dumb ones.
One of
I'm
them's
not
an
sa-
ice cream cone.
Yeah. Some of them are
so
just
someone
crazy.
actually made a good point about that vanillite exists because there are species in the world that are literally built to be eaten. They look like food for everything. Parasites, for example, are a great indicator of how things are designed to be eaten. So the vanillite is just a parasitic Pokemon that's literally like appealing to humans to eat it. So
But
it can
why
reproduce.
would it be the form of an ice cream cone?
It's appealing to small children, to adults.
to eat.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's a parasite.
It's still
It's just really
there's
weird.
just so
Corey,
many.
what did you
of
have
them there.
before you came over here?
A
I didn't have
parasite?
an ice cream cone. I had a frozen dessert.
Oh,
You had a vanillite because
Yeah,
they
I
are
did.
not dairy.
Oh.
Ooh, see,
Oh, okay.
that's probably gonna screw
Now I
them.
have a
'cause it's a
parasite.
Now it's-
parasite.
now it's
Now he's
reproducing
gonna have to
in your
go
gut.
deal with that in the bathroom later. All right, so let's wrap this up. Does anybody have any other random nerdy things that they hate that they think everybody else loves?
Buffy.
Oh, fuck you!
I also agree with Buffy.
Fuck you!
I can never
It's
get
Joss
into it.
Whedon.
I remembered that while you guys were talking about Highlander. I was
You
like,
say that like
Angel.
I'm supposed to love
You
Joss Whedon.
love Joss Whedon.
I love Firefly.
Angel.
There you go.
Angel is unrecognizable as a show.
What do you mean unrecognizable?
Like it shouldn't be a show.
Fuck you!
It's bad.
It's so good.
It's a knockoff of a bad show. Why?
Well, it's not a not. Well, one, it's not a bad show. Two,
a
it's
spin-off.
not a spin-off of a bad show. And three, it is basically he does it at a detective agency as a vampire. That's fantastic.
I guess.
If you wanted to watch that, you should just watch Forever Night, which is a better vampire being a cop detective.
No.
Or read the Dresden Files, which is a wizard detective.
I've always wanted to. I was excited. I started to watch the show, but then it got canceled like right away. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not.
Books are
is
great.
that a BBC show?
No, it was on Sci-Fi, I think.
Oh.
I don't understand.
Books are
why
great.
People don't like Buffy.
But I like
Oh,
the
what was
actor.
the what's the other
Ridiculous.
one? Merlin, the BBC version.
I know.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
wouldn't
been
know.
able to get into it.
Oh God, that's so bad.
Although BBC does put on some good shows. Sometimes.
Yeah, they have
Sherlock.
good shows.
Sherlock was fantastic.
They got Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
So that's one of those things that I want to say I hate it, but I haven't watched enough to say. But there's certain elements in that show that seem cool as hell, like the Weeping Angels, like that.
They're
that
only there for one
premise,
episode.
I know, but that premise is so fucking cool. Of looking away and then they're creeping up on you like that. There are tons of video games and tons of movies that do that. That's so cool. Remnant has a part in it where there's basically those creatures that will come and attack you as soon as you turn around when the camera's not facing them. It's great.
It's crazy to me that he likes Buffy as much as he does,
Yeah, it's
but
great.
hates with a passion True Blood, which is undoubtedly a more grown up and
True
better
Blood
show.
has horrible dialogue and a horrible story.
I'm
and
too straight
fact
for
that
True
you're
Blood.
saying
bad
that-
I've never
acting
watched True Blood.
and
What'd
bad
you say?
acting.
And I
I'm
won't
true.
do
I'm
it.
I'm too straight for True Blood.
Yeah,
too
that sounds
straight.
right.
Just-
Twilight.
It is a very gay show.
Twilight.
It is not.
It's
It's
a
in the
very
same
gay
realm
show.
of the Vampire Diaries. None of that shit.
Yeah,
really does it for me.
Twilight, Legacies. I've never watched any of those.
Anyone who
That's
tells
a-
me that True Blood's a gay show has not watched
Any-
True Blood.
Just because he
Any
sees
show that
boobies
my
and he's
wife
like,
will
ooh,
binge watch,
boobies.
no,
I
I'm
refuse to
saying
watch.
Eric Northman is one of the most badass characters. Just fucking
Yeah, I
giant
got
ass Viking.
4
that just
episodes
hammers.
in and I just tapped out. The dialogue between the main characters is so bad, and the little action that there wasn't anything that made
You
me
must
go,
not listen
holy
to the
shit.
dialogue.
I don't have a hate-
because I've tried to watch Buffy.
Buffy's
and that
dialogue is
dialogue
fantastic.
terrible.
I don't have a hate for
Well,
it, but I'm
'cause it's
indifferent.
Old 90s dialogue.
Yeah,
too.
it's so campy.
Oh
and
yeah,
shitty.
wicked bad.
It's not.
I'm indifferent to it. I don't have a hate, so don't get your pitchforks out. But I don't give a shit about Supernatural.
All right. I don't like this guy no more.
And on that note,
So did you try to watch it?
Yeah, I watched like the first 2 seasons.
If you,
so the first five
are
seasons are
perfection.
really good, and then after that, it was just like we're
just
gonna
on
keep
because
going.
People will watch us.
that's literally what it was.
Beating
Yeah.
a dead horse with
They,
another
they
dead
CW.
wrote,
horse.
what, they wrote 5 seasons, right?
No, they wrote 3 seasons, and they're like, "Hey, you guys are kind of doing a really good. Like, do you think?" And he's like, "I've already got an idea. We can do 5." And they're like, "Great." And then like, come 5 seasons, they're like, so you're like the number one show. Would you like more money? And they were like, sure. And they went for another 10 fucking years.
And that's how the Scooby-Doo episode was born.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was.
I am surprised you don't like Supernatural.
Just couldn't get into it.
If taking everything I know about everybody aside, just being friends with people, I would have thought in this room, the person that I could have banked on enjoying Supernatural would have been you. Just two
Did you
brothers.
watch it when it came out or
Yes.
later?
I watched it roughly when it came out.
See, that,
Did you
that's
like
what
Stranger
hooked me.
Things?
I do like Stranger Things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's at least good.
There's a lot of D&D reference there. So
That's kind of what I was going to say. If he's like, I hated it, I'd be like, guy. Are your eyes open while the TV is on? Hate
all
Star
right.
Wars. Hate
I challenge
Supernatural.
everybody in this room to watch
I don't
the
hate
first season of True
Supernatural.
Blood.
No.
I don't hate Supernatural. It does nothing for me. I don't love it. I don't hate it. If it's on, it's harmless. I'll watch it.
They're just monster hunting because Dad didn't come home from a hunting trip.
I will say rewatching season 1 I
Yes.
don't enjoy
Yes,
because it's
these
very
kids-
episodic. But
Put their entire lives on the line because they have daddy issues.
Yeah,
His dad
basically.
didn't come home from the store.
Yeah. He didn't come home with that milk. Supercell.
All right. So he mentioned one. Do you have any other closing ones that?
things I hate that other people
Yep.
like.
Not even that you hate, that you're just indifferent to. Like that's why I had to preface with "Don't get your torches and
I
pitchforks."
should say.
ready.
I mean, we mentioned it last time, but you also had Marvel.
Oh, shit.
Marvel isn't
Corey, have
your
you
thing
seen the
either.
new DC animated series that has come out?
The what? Superman?
Batman? Like the newest,
I'm
the
trying.
new Batman
I'm
one?
trying to watch it, but I don't want to be that guy. But,
Is it bad?
Well, the Penguin. So look, they made Penguin a woman, which is whatever.
Fine.
But at the same time, they made Penguin. But they made Penguin a woman who's like a singer,
Okay.
and I don't know. But the Penguin's supposed to be kind of a grody dude who's not like particularly. People don't like to be in
he's
his
just a crime
company.
boss.
Corey needs to be like completely to the source material. That's what I've noticed for both of them. If it deviates from the source material, it upsets them. It might not ruin it, but it upsets them of going, why?
It's changing it for the sake of changing it for no reason.
Yeah,
I can agree to that.
There's no value.
Sometimes, and other times, there might be value that you just don't see.
My problem with Marvel isn't I don't hate Marvel. I don't like the Marvel movies.
Because you're wrong.
Have you watched Kite Man?
No.
It's
I've also never seen
Harley Quinn?
Unstoppable or Indestructible.
Invincible?
Invincible. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
you
yeah,
gotta watch
Invincible's good.
Invincible.
I know you
Invincible's
tell me
good.
every time. I don't.
Watch the first episode. All
Harley
the way
Quinn.
to the end.
Just get through the first episode.
I only have time to watch shows at the same time my wife watches shows,
She'll watch
and
it.
the only thing that I have time because she watches other shows, and I'm currently trying to get through Shogun.
Oh,
I
it's so
haven't.
good.
I haven't.
It's
watched it.
great, but it's like an hour and 15 minutes an episode, and so far it's taken me
super
like
dense.
6 weeks, and I've gotten through half the season.
It's
Just
So
watch
I'm
Invincible.
working my way towards Invincible.
Just bring your phone in the
Shogun is such
bathroom
a
and watch
dense
Invincible
show.
while you
It's-
shit.
I don't take 45-minute shits. What do you? I think I.
Or either does he. His shits are like 2 seconds because it just fucking falls out of him.
You take enough 5-minute shits, it adds up to a whole episode.
I can't do that. I have to watch the whole episode.
I see.
Well,
I'm
then
the
just
same way.
linger. And then if your wife asks what's going on, say you have tummy problems and watch the show.
Every night.
I thought
for
you watched
a full
it
season.
at work.
Invincible?
Anything like you can just watch it at work.
I can't watch Invincible at work.
Why?
Why?
It's like rated R, isn't it?
No.
But it was like
Yeah,
I thought it was like
it's,
yeah,
no,
MA.
it's MA.
Yeah.
It's MA. But
Which
you
is-
you were watching something else at work that I was like, how the fuck are you watching
Yeah,
that at work?
I can't remember what it was, but we were like,
Yeah, we were like, how the fuck are you
was
watching
it
that at work?
Deadpool?
No, it
No.
wasn't Deadpool.
It was something in preparation of another movie we were going to see.
I
though.
think so. Or a TV show that was about to come out, like a new season or
Something,
something. And I was just like, oh, you got to watch that. You're like, oh, yeah, I've been watching it at work. And I was like, aren't those on the TVs that everybody can see? And you're like, yeah. I was just like, all right.
I don't remember that. Then.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've watched like the horror stuff during like that season though. which
Well,
is
some
fine.
horror's fine, but other ones probably too much. Most of the horror movies are like PG-13.
Like
so
you
those
couldn't
are
throw on
fine.
Terrorizer or,
No,
or
you
Devil's
shouldn't.
Rejects. Or,
No.
I can't wait for
I haven't
Terrorizer
seen
3.
I haven't seen Terrorizer 2.
I'm not into those.
I've
It's like it
I
doesn't
don't know
do
what one
anything.
that
It's
Well,
all-
I don't. That
It's
I don't
all
understand.
practical effects.
Loves
Yeah, I get that.
loves Saw, loves the whole series,
Loves it.
hates Terrorizer.
I don't hate Terrorizer.
What
It just
is
doesn't do anything
Terrorizer?
for me.
It's like a,
It's a slasher flick about a clown that goes around and
but it's
Oh,
like
is that-
it's gore.
Yeah, you said you
horror,
didn't
whatever
like
you
it.
wanna
It's
call
Is
very gore
Terrorizer
heavy.
the one with the orange suit?
No, he's got
Black and
like
white.
a black and white suit.
Yeah, it's just a
Oh,
clown.
Art the
with
Clown.
the I know what you're talking about. There's one where he's in like a cafe and these two girls are in there
Yes.
and he's interacting.
Yeah, he's like,
it's kinda
"Hey."
creepy. And he's always smiling and then he goes,
and then he stalks them and brutally murders them.
yeah. I figured that's what happened.
And then the next person he just happens to catch his attention is while he's getting his clothes washed at the laundromat. So he brutally murders a guy while he's in his underwear.
But it's like,
Yeah.
it's like a.
There's no plot to the first one. It's just
What's the orange suit clown?
John Wayne Gacy. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I don't know
thought
what
you
you're
guys
talking
might know.
about. Have you guys seen?
You're thinking American
Tooth?
Horror Story.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, there's like American Horror
No,
Story,
it's,
like
it's
circus.
a movie series, and the guy wears an orange suit, and he's in a clown, and
He's
these
in a
pop-
clown?
Yeah, it's
He's
really
going
creepy.
right for him.
So what's the Rob
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 Zombie.
Zombie?
Rob Zombie one?
House of a Thousand Corpses,
Yeah.
Devil's Rejects, and I don't remember what the third
I think,
one is.
Halloween
I think you're
1
thinking
and
House
2.
of a Thousand Corpses. Because he has like a face paint.
Did you guys ever watch the short?
Captain Spaulding.
Oh, it's called The Jester.
Nope, never seen it.
No. Have you ever seen the short film? It's like 10 or 15 minutes about the box. Where you have to keep your eyes on the box.
Yes,
No.
I have. And then the thing starts creeping out.
Yeah,
like
the
that.
guy. Oh, it's so fucking creepy. It's like a 10-minute short film, and it is
And
fantastic.
he goes like, "No, you had to keep your eyes on the box, not her."
But that's all basically practical effects too. But it's only 10 minutes, but it's super like freaky.
Yeah.
He has another one that he did, or the director did, about waking up in a car with amnesia with this person in the back seat that's handcuffed and gagged, and you don't remember anything, and ends up it's an alien type thing.
There's-
That
I think
happens
he-
to me like every Monday.
I'm
morning.
sure.
He does one where this family is like
How'd I get here?
eating
Who
dinner,
are you?
and they're not. There's this creature
Why
that
am
will
I
come
wet?
up from the basement, and they're not supposed to
Usually
look
I'm
at
the
it.
one
And if
handcuffed
they
in the
look
back
at
seat,
it or
though.
even acknowledge it's there,
Same guy.
I think it's the same guy. Yeah,
I'll have to look for that
and,
one.
And he like the creature won't mess with you, but it will like come up to you and like grab your shoulders, but it won't hurt you unless you acknowledge it's there. And if you do, it'll drag you into the basement and kill you.
See,
And
like
then there's the. Did you see the one where the
It's like having
creepy,
kids.
the creepy thing where you have to stare at it and it like is a curse on the family, and then the father makes it go away by showing it its own reflection, and then it
The
shatters.
Babadook.
What is
is
it?
that the thing where they're looking out the window and
Yes,
it's in the
yep,
thing? Yeah, I've
yep.
seen that one. And then they all have their own too. Like
Right, yeah.
this one I'm looking at, it's still there, and then the other person's looking and it's not there
Yeah,
anymore
yeah.
because they all have their own. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Like I like those. Those are I like the feeling of being like, oh shit.
I'm a big analog horror person, so I like non-traditional like slasher movies, all tension based.
Yeah. That's why I like the first Saw. Very tension, and not to mention it's the ending. The ending seals that fucking movie for me. It's
I don't
fantastic.
think of Saw as a horror movie as much as I think of it as like a,
suspense thriller?
Suspense thriller.
Yeah.
Or like.
But it is technically a horror.
There's like YouTube channels that I like called like Local 58, which is a horror event seen through a local news network. Really cool.
All right. Anybody else? Anything that? Because now we're talking about things we like.
I could do a whole episode on analog horror. I love that shit.
Well, when we get to October, although we'll probably be playing the game then.
Depends on how quick we die.
That's fair. And then how many more times we potentially want to play.
Oh, we need to have a Kingdom Death Halloween horror episode.
That's a lot of
Actually,
words
we
put
should have-
together.
we should have-
Fight a giant pumpkin.
We should have Dan come do his murder death thing like he does every Halloween.
Murder Death?
What's that game he does called?
Murder, death, kill thing.
Yeah.
You're talking
Over-
about the D&D thing that we
That
kind of
wasn't
did.
every Halloween.
Yeah, we
It
did
was
that
just
in like
one episode.
December.
Well, I know,
That was
but
2 episodes.
every year I've gone to his house before for Halloween. He does like a live role playing session
Aren't
centered
they all
around.
alive?
All right. Well, fuck you. I guess.
Not
we
by the
won't.
time this airs.
Yeah.
That's great. All right.
Well,
so,
anyone you go to is going to be live. Like,
That's fair. I guess we're good.
anybody else? Anything? We're
I
ending this
hate
bitch.
Mike now.
That's all right.
And he's
The
nerdy.
circle of hate is concluded.
Yeah, everybody hates each
Do
other.
it full circle.
I hate how hot it is in this room, so
yeah,
let's
I'm
wrap up.
dying.
Okay. All right. So we'll end it there. We'll figure out what the hell we're doing next week, and then we still have the Kingdom Death to play in September.
Yep,
But yeah,
that's all in the mail. So
good shit. All right. We'll end it
All right.
there.
Check